And shout out to us for making an official announcement for the NFL.
Ooh.
Now, there might be an asterisk next to this one, a pretty large one, but we would like to be the first ones to say this. Joining us now is a man who this season has thrown for 4,059 yards. Whoa! 44 touchdowns with only 5 interceptions. Ooh. A man who this 2020 season has made football look easier than A.J. Dillon did against Boston Connor in high school up in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. And a man that we can say officially, kind of, the 2020 NFL MVP. Woo! Woo! Aaron Rodgers. Yeah! Congrats, man! Congrats, dude! You did it! You did it, Aaron! You did it! Congrats, man.
What's on your shirt, buddy?
Me? Santa Claus, Stone Cold, and some milk and cookies. You know what I mean?
Nice.
What's on your shirt there? The Empire Strikes Back? You a big Star Wars guy?
I'm a huge Star Wars guy.
I would have guessed that, I think, actually, now that I have got to know.
No, but let me put a caveat on that. I have not seen The Mandalorian. Any of it. So you'd be like, oh my God, you haven't seen The Mandalorian?
Yeah. Because there's people that aren't Star Wars fans that have seen The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? That was kind of like the thing.
Yeah, well, I'll get to it at some point. But episodes 4, 5, and 6, very, very special to me.
Are those movies? I don't watch Star Wars.
The originals.
What are
the
those?
originals, man.
The originals.
New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Do you watch them like yearly, or is it just something you haven't seen in a long time? Is it something you keep up with? You do it again, remind you of how awesome they are? Is Star Wars really that close to you?
Pat, I feel like you're a guy who has some nostalgia in your life, you know, some feelings of attachment to certain points in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what those movies are for me.
Well, and for me, it's
I watch them every single year.
And for me, it's the Attitude Era of WWF. You know, when Stone Cold is losing his mind.
Not when Goldberg was sticking people and Hogan and the NWO. I guess you're a little young for that.
No. That's the Monday Night Wars. I was in the middle of that. I was always a WWF guy, which is now WWE. But the Goldberg streak, he couldn't help but respect it. Just a wall of a man spearing people every single night. It was awesome.
Ripping heaters and doing trap raises, you know?
Hey, we had A.J. Dillon on earlier. He looked like he had shoulder pads on underneath of his hoodie. He is a strapping young lad over there.
Yeah. Did he walk around and twirl around? Did he show you his quads or anything?
He did mention that you talked about his quads being bigger than my quads earlier this year, and he asked how I felt about it. So it felt like a little bit of a shot from AJ, and it reminded me of a shot that you took of me, but his legs are grotesque. He had a massive game on Sunday night, though. Did you expect that from him?
No, not really. Not really.
I mean, legit, though.
I knew that with Jamal out, he was going to get some carries, and then with Jonesy getting banged up, he was in the first series, and I wasn't sure if we were just spelling Aaron and giving him a little break or not. And then he was in there the next series. I was like, oh, he must be actually hurt. So this kid's going to get a lot of carries. But he settled in. You know, I think he had a couple plays that gave him some confidence. He broke some tackles and ran a couple guys over, a couple of his own guys as well. He was just bowling ball, man. He was running. He was running pretty hard. It was fun to watch.
Hey,
big backs in the winter have done pretty well over the years in Green Bay.
Well, you got to be able to run the rock. Do you believe that old, like the old cliche that playoff football, December, January, you got to be able to run the ball? You don't believe that?
I don't believe that, but I do believe that it is a little harder to tackle big backs in the winter, outdoors, in the elements.
Well, how come it looks so easy to you out there? It was not just football in general, which this season has for you. Congrats on the 2020 MVP. Yeah. You didn't even say anything about it. We gave a full fucking celebration. We had poppers, the whole thing. We're going to have to clean those up.
See, the poppers really going up. I saw some of the boys, those quick snapshots of them. I didn't see like they were, okay, yeah, I saw that.
Oh, there's smoke in that thing, huh? I didn't know there was like little blanks in there. Yeah. We have a full mess.
Coming in.
Look, that dude, you won the MVP, bro. Woo! Woo! That one's broke.
This one stinks.
Mine was a dud, too.
How are you guys able to even operate the show without Ty? You know, Ty sent me a message, said he has some, fiance duties that he had to take care of.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then AJ, he's on vacation.
Yeah.
How does the show? What's the glue that keeps the show together? I've always wondered.
Let me tell you, the only reason why we're live right now is so we can save vacation time for the off season. Like literally, that's the only time. The only reason why we are currently live and everybody else seems to be on a break. Everybody literally seems to be on a break is because we're saving days for the off season when we got to go to Malibu alongside Ty, where I'm gonna get an Airbnb, but Ty will be at your place or whatever. We got to save up vacation days for that type of stuff. But we do miss Ty around here on a daily. We will tell you that we do miss the guy around here.
Hey, it's important duties for him. It's been, I'm sure, a weird year for him and his fiance. Thinking they're going to get married at some point, and they got to push it back.
My wife and I had to do that. My wife had to plan like 4 weddings. It was a nightmare. Eh? I mean, obviously, best day of my life. Let's not get it twisted. Best day of my life with it. But the process of being a COVID wedding was wild. And Ty's been in the middle of that as well. Aaron Ty's been.
Basically means she said yes 4 times to you. So you got to feel good about that.
Yeah, I didn't.
There were 3 opportunities for her to be like, I just don't know if it's in the cards. I mean, I feel like the signs are saying, So 4 different times she said, yeah.
Look how positive you are there. Like, I didn't even think about her, saying, well, I could opt out now. The universe kind of gave me a reason to potentially opt out another time. And then, oh, wait, there's another wave. There's the universe again. And she said, no, that's a very positive way to look at that. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Anytime.
Let's talk positive about your athleticism. How about you skirt for like a 15, 16-yard gain? I thought you were going to be very winded afterwards. You look like you were just as fresh as a daisy afterwards.
Yeah, I feel I get faster in the snow. I've always felt like. That was a screen pass, actually. It's supposed to be a screen to the left. I'm not sure what Billy Turner was doing on that play, but I rolled out to the right. I looked to the left. They were all over the screen. I said, I'm going to run this bitch, I think, and cut it back there. Had vision to the end zone for sure, but I must admit I get a little jealous. I watch Tannehill get to do some read option stuff. He runs 50 for a touchdown. Just still waiting. Just still waiting on my opportunities for that. Throwing passes. The other quarterbacks get a chance to catch passes. All I do is just sit in the pocket and read defenses, man.
What's that all about? It looks boring. It does for you. It looks very boring. 4 incompletions this past week. What an embarrassment.
Jeez.
What an absolute embarrassment. How come? Is it because you just have massive hands? That's what I assume. How come in the snow, you guys, it like 20 degrees, it had to be cold as hell. You got your long johns on, which is hilarious, by the way, that you just wear long john underwear, it looks like. But it feels like you get better in those conditions. What is it? Because it's going to be a tough out for anybody to have to go to Lambeau. I think Tennessee realized that, and they were a run team. It changed their entire team. You guys seem to get better in the snow. Why is it? Is it just a comfort? Is it like you're used to it? What is it?
I don't know about anybody else, but I keep telling myself that I am less miserable than they are, and I think there's something to that. There's something to practicing outside and just being around the cold and doing things in that environment that you just kind of deal with it. It's a mindset. Other teams come in, you just give them a reason to start letting those feelings creep in. That, man, this sucks, man. I can't wait to get on the bus and get out of here and get back home and get in a warm environment. And just give them a reason to start having those thoughts when you can score early. And we scored in the first 3 possessions. And although they came back and made it a game in the third quarter, that definitely gave us a big jolt of confidence. And then we had back-to-back possessions there. And, when they came back to put them away. And it's a different environment. It takes a different type of mindset to play in the cold. It does help having big hands and having a lot of games under my belt in those type of conditions. But, a lot of it is a mindset. And we handled it really well.
Do you work with like wet ball? Do you do wet ball drills all week? Like
with a passion. I hate wet ball drills. Farvey and he used to go through kind of his top 5 least favorite things, like that he has to do in a week or, especially with football. Wet ball drills is in the top 5 for sure. It's one of the dumbest drills ever invented. It has 0 application to an actual game. In no game, at no time, will you have a ball that just got out of being dunked in the water that you have to find a way to hold and throw. Even in the wettest games I've played in the most rain, it's not anywhere near that ridiculous drill. And I refuse to do that. Right up next to it, is staying at a hotel night before a game.
Oh, the worst.
There is zero scientific evidence or reasons. And I think in all my years, I finally understood where it came from recently. It was some coach who said, I'm going to do things differently. Let's have everybody stay in a hotel. And luckily for him, he had some success. And then some people on his staff were like, hey, remember what that coach used to do? Make everybody stay at the hotel? We should do that. Yeah. And then it perpetuated this idea that you have to stay at a hotel night before a game, have this weird, bizarre, forced accountability that also you're staying the most important night of sleep on a bed that's not even your own bed.
Oh.
It is the most ridiculous thing I think probably in our sport.
Now, away games, obviously you have to travel. Aaron's talking about home games. And for those that don't know, home games.
Away games you go on the road, you stay at a hotel. That's normal. But staying at home, it's a home game. And then having to go to a hotel and stay at a hotel. I mean, if you ask Age, he could tell stories. He would wake up at, 4 or 5, whatever, the earliest time he could wake up, and then go back home and sleep, for another 2 or 3 hours in the morning.
A lot of guys would do that, by the way. A lot of guys would do that on the Colts as well.
Yeah, a lot of guys, and myself included, a lot of times. It is the dumbest part.
Don't you have any pull over there? Don't you have any? You're Aaron Rodgers, dude. Can't you be like, you know what I've decided? I'm staying in my white brick house the night before this game. I think I've deserved it at this point.
Yeah, if you want to take a little 10 grand, 15, 20 grand fine, maybe.
Yeah, and also you kind of look like a dick, I guess, if everybody else isn't doing it. But you're 100% right. Everybody thought it was dumb. Everybody thinks it's dumb. It still happens. Was there ever a time in your NFL career where it didn't happen, like early?
No, that was always a standard. We've stayed in dorms during training camp as well over at St. Norbert's, and I don't think that's dumb. But guys, often are like, they see me like leaving there in the morning, like, wait, you stay at the dorms too?
Yeah, I would ask that question as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to get, I think dorm rooms though, training camp, I think teams getting away and getting together is a good thing to build team camaraderie. I think the night before hotel thing is just like how can we control you one last time before the game starts. Personally, I think it's very. We had bed bugs in one of the hotels we were in at home. It was wild. Had to change hotels like literally as we were at the hotel. Had to go to another hotel. Oh, bed bugs were found in a couple guys' rooms. Was it anybody important? Like I'll take it. Like we don't need luck getting goddamn bed bugs at this point. I mean, it is a wild, archaic idea. You're going to win the MVP. Like I assume that is something you've talked about how it would be cool if you want it or it would be important to you and you care about the MVP, but you're going to win it now at this point. We've been banging the drum hard. Oh, yeah. A lot of money has been made in this office for betting on you winning the MVP. Beginning of the season, you were plus 2,300. Plus 2,300. Just a couple weeks ago, you were plus 600. Now you're minus 145. You don't know what gambling is, but that is bad odds now. Nobody's making money. Early, we made a lot of money off of you winning the MVP. But do you, whenever you think about the MVP, is that a goal of yours going into every season? Or is there a list of goals? How about going into games? Do you have a list of goals for each game? Like, how do you operate? Is it just like, I just want to go win the games?
I mean, I think there's preseason goals and things you'd like to accomplish. Game to game, it's way simpler than that. It's not statistical goals. It's more of a way of playing. It's getting into a rhythm. It's decision making. It's the checks. It's a set of boxes that I'd like to check off. Just making sure that I'm getting us in the right plays and decision making, and the rest of the stuff comes with those boxes being checked. The performance and the stats and all that just come with doing little things. That's why I like to break it down even more than that. But beginning of the season for sure, like those are if you have the type of performance week to week that you want to have, you're going to be in the mix for a Pro Bowl and All-Pro and MVP. And anyone who says that stuff's not important to them is just a robot who probably not someone that you or I would want to spend time with, because I don't know why people would shy away from just sharing their feelings on that. Like, why would you not want to be voted Pro Bowl? Why would you not want to be voted All-Pro? Why would you not want to win MVP? Like, those are markers in our game that are voted on by people who have studied the game for a long time, and yeah, would it be cool? Hell yeah, it'd be awesome.
How many do you have at this point?
I've won 2.
Do you have them up anywhere? Are they like in an office? Are they hanging out? You got them in a vault?
Yeah, a vault.
Ooh. Man, you have a vault? Do you really? You got like an escape room?
I love escape rooms. Have you ever done those before?
No, but I've seen it. It seems like it's a good time. It's like Jigsaw, right? It's like Saw, but you don't get your legs cut off and shit.
Yeah, it's a little safer than that.
What do you have them in your office? Like,
yeah, I just have them in a couple. I think one of them's here, and one of them's probably out west somewhere.
Do you take photos with people?
Depends. I like to have normal conversations, interactions with people. So if it's not a good time or I'm doing something, then I might say, hey, sorry, man, it's not a good time. I'm on the phone or I'm
talking about other famous people. Because I'm in my head, I'm thinking of Peyton's office I walked into one time. I probably wasn't supposed to be in there. I went down a hallway I probably wasn't supposed to go down. Went to a bathroom I probably wasn't supposed to be in. And then directly across from the bathroom was his office, which I probably definitely wasn't supposed to go into. And he had his MVPs in there. And he had photos with every human that was of a notable human just all around his office. And it was kind of cool for me to be like, oh, like Peyton's a fan of people. Like, you know what I mean? It was almost like a situation where, now granted, I think Archie came in and found me. He was like, Pat, what's going on in here? And he was like, you're missed in the living room or whatever. And I was like, oh, Archie, I'm sorry about that. But it was like kind of cool to see. He had his awards in there, obviously. And I was like, well, I'm obviously never going to accomplish anything near what this guy's accomplished. But then the photos, I was like, oh, it kind of made me look at Peyton more of like a human. Do you take photos with like other notable? Do you guys, when you're in your little notable hangouts, do you guys all take photos with each other? How does that work?
I mean, my office is not decked out with me in photos of other people. It's like famous people. It's me and my friends. I have a picture from Tahoe with AJ and his brother and my buddy Eric and my buddy Brian and his buddy Clay. And I have a painting of the 7th hole at Pebble that Scotty Tolzien got me.
Oh, I love Scotty Tolzien.
Holes in all of golf. Yeah, he got me that for Christmas one year. I have pictures with other friends. I got a Bob Ross painting in there. So, yeah, it's I love it. There you go. I see Bobby.
You have to have dark in order to show light. It's just like in life.
This is Dad Days for Life sent me this. Merry Christmas to me, dude. I put him right next to Jesus over here. He hasn't made his way over.
Is that the Jared Lorenzen on there too?
Yeah, the hefty lefty man. He sent this to us, or we bought it. I forget which one it was, but good guy. He's always on here every day. What a legend of a man that guy was.
Yeah.
He could huck that ball now. I mean, he would.
Good man. He really could.
He was standing there. And he would just. Did you see Josh Allen last night? Did you watch the game last night?
No.
He can hum it, dude. It feels like there's some. Like right now, it feels like there's a lot of quarterbacks who can fucking hawk that pigskin right now. You know
he's got a helping arm. I mean, he can do it from every arm angle. And yeah.
Did you see your boy Matty Stafford have a no-look touchdown the other day?
Yes. What I mean, I'd said it on this show.
I know.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you never get any credit for it either.
It shouldn't be surprising to people. He's been doing it for years.
All right, I wrote down some things during the game to ask you about. You're squatting 405 pounds right now? Is that real?
Yeah, that's real.
When do you once a week? When do you max out? Are you maxing out during this?
Tuesdays is my. No, it's not a max out. It's not a 1 rep max. It's at least 3 reps, and it's set. So I'll work up. I'll start like. Today was a lighter day, so I only finished with 365, but it was a different time.
Ooh.
A different time. The strain wasn't supposed to be like it is on other days, but we never do 1 rep maxes. It's kind of a build up in weight. So when I get up to 405, it's I'll start with 365 and then go 385 and then go 405 or whatever.
And you said you just started doing that again this year. Is that the big thing? You looked back from 2010 in film and preseason and saw your legs?
Second half of last year and then this entire year. Yeah, I think it's really helped. I just need to build my legs back after I broke my leg and sprained my MCL in 18. I just couldn't do a whole lot on that leg. I needed to build it up with proprioception first, and then once I got the proprioception back, then I really started adding some lifting.
Proprioception.
Balance.
Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Hey, MVP brain over there, dude. Okay, what was the thing you looked at in film from 2010 that you said you would let us know what it was at some point? What was it?
It's the season not over yet.
All right, we'll get that.
That's all the secrets yet, Pat. Come on.
Hey, okay, all right, great. You have most touchdowns in a stadium. Okay, there's Roethlisberger and Hines, I assume, and then there's Gillette with Tom, and then you passed Brett Favre, who had 216 or something like that. Lambeau, it feels like it's going to be home field advantage now for you guys in the playoffs as well. But is that your favorite place to play? I would assume it is at this point. It would have to be. But is there anywhere else that even comes close to playing at Lambeau for you?
Well, I like playing at Soldier Field as well, which is this week. We've had some big there. It's way better with fans. I mean, look, the fans make the environment. Like, obviously the rivalry helps, and if you're playing a good team, but when you have a fan base that's so invested, like Chicago sports fans are, like New York sports fans and Boston sports fans especially, and obviously our fans, but there's just some places that are made more special by the ambiance and the noise and the environment that a fan base can bring. And Soldier Field is one of those places. It's such a fun place to play. There's so much history in that stadium and so many great players and great rivalries and great games there. And we've had some big ones over the years as well. Some really, some big wins. Won the NFC Championship there. Came back from broken collarbone at 13 and hit a 4th and 8 to Cobby there. So there's been some big ones over the years at that stadium. Always some epic battles as well, especially over the years with Urlacher and Briggs and Peanut and Julius and all the guys they've had, and now this group of guys who are super talented as well. So, and there's a lot to play for. They obviously have been playing better. They've won 3 out of 4 since we last played them, and they have a fast track to the playoffs. They control their own fate. We also have to win to get the 1 seed, so definitely a lot on the line.
Oh, I like to hear that, by the way. The whole, we also got a 1 seed to get. Everybody's going to have to come through Lambeau. Much different football game. Can't wait to see how you do in Soldier Field. Do you have any hilarious interactions with fans? Anybody ever say something just absolutely despicable to you, right to your face, because they paid for a ticket in the front row of a stadium, so they're allowed to say whatever they want to anybody?
Oh, I mean, there's been a bunch. There's been a bunch over the years. I think the rowdiest and the biggest trash talkers and the funniest trash talkers are in Philly.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, that's where
there's been a lot of different interactions. And we had a stretch there where we played them a few times in Philly. And one time I got hit with a battery in the helmet. But the funniest was we were playing them on a Monday night. I think it was in 2006. And one of your boys can fact check this. But it was I feel like it was 2006. Might have been 2005. But the entire game, every time Favre would come out of the game and we'd look at the pictures, somebody in the stands would yell, "Hey, Rodgers, get the splinters out your ass." The entire game. I mean, he had to be in one of the first 2 rows, but every single time I came over, "Get the splinters out your ass."
Did you ever turn around and interact with said guy?
I did, because in the beginning I was like, "Man, why is he yelling at me?" Like, of all the things you could be yelling. And then when he just kept going and going, it went from to I respect this guy now. This guy, he's carried it on the entire game. At some point I got to turn around and give this guy a thumbs up. So I turned around, he looked at me, I was like, "Hey, kudos to you, bro. That's for you sticking with it. The stick-to-itiveness that you have."
Oh, yeah.
You yelled at the entire game without me turning around to the middle of the third quarter. A lot of respect for that.
I had a Philly. We played the Eagles the week after my suspension for my alleged event in Philadelphia, primetime game. Couldn't have been a worse place to go to after that arrest that I had. It was amazing. The entire game. Some guy who sounded like he was potentially 400 pounds, and once I eventually turned around, he was about 5 bills or whatever. He had a little. You could hear it in his voice. He was giving it to me. McAfee team. Like my name was wrong the entire time. And Vinatieri and I made an agreement that I wasn't going to turn around. And because we knew I was going to hear it from Philly. Like, we knew I was going to hear things, especially after a week suspension or whatever. And I was like, I'm not going to give him even the time of day. This guy, though, after the first couple times, I'm like, I got to see this human. And I turn around. He's holding like a cartoon-sized beer. It was like a 44 ouncer. It felt like that. And he goes, "There's nothing wrong with having a few of these and going for a swim." And his entire section started cheering. Right? They're like, "Yeah!" And he like chugged his beer or whatever. And I'm like, "Oh my man, like I appreciate you. You know." I go out there, I pin him at like the 1. I got lucky on a punt. I go back, and he goes, "McAfee!" And I turn around. And he goes, "Fuck you!" And I was like, "I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends." And it was like I had the full Philadelphia Eagles fan experience in about 5 minutes. I love it. Baltimore was always rowdy, I thought. I enjoy them. Pittsburgh was always rowdy. I enjoy those fans that are just ruthless. Like, I love that type of shit.
Yeah, I like, the other thing you miss by the fans is there's always some wild cards that could show up. Like in Cincy in 05, when we were driving down and some dude runs out of the stands right past me. We're like on the plus 20 going in, down 7 to try and score. And he runs down there, and the back judge sees it when he's running about the plus 40. Right, I'm standing on the minus 30, so I'm way away from the play. So he literally runs like 70 yards, takes the ball out of Favre's hands, and they've blown the play at this point. We're like on the ball in 2 minutes. They've blown the play, and he runs down to try and score a touchdown. And he's already exhausted. I got to give him some credit because he ran about 80 yards to even get the ball. Then he's trying to go 80 the other way.
Tough.
He wasn't in shape. In Philly, I believe it might have been that same game where splinters out your ass. Somebody ran on the field and dumped a substance at midfield. Turned out to be his mother's ashes.
No. Wow. Oh, my God. Wow.
And at Lambeau as well, you never know. Like, there hasn't been any dongs out or anything, but there's been some Speedos and some streakers. And they always get ripped by, some security guard or player. Brad Jones, one of our linebackers one time, was on kickoff. Somebody ran out there, avoided a couple of our security guys, and then Brad just clotheslined the shit out of them. And then they, jumped on him. But I do miss the
fans. You miss the fans. You miss the fans. A lady or a guy dumping his mother's ashes on the midfield is a story I haven't heard, and I wish I did. Let's talk about running. You ran. My next question here, I have it written down. How tired were you at the end of the half when you ran a gasser before throwing it? You ran 53 and a third all the way over there, gained like 4 yards or whatever. At what point were you regretting your entire decision there? Or was it like, I can't believe I have this much time back here?
When I turned back to the right, I was really thinking that Jones, who was blocking on the backside of the rollout, I thought he might be wide open. I could just dump it to him. Once I turned, I realized I don't know why, he's behind me. So I can't throw it to him. Basically, all the other guys down the field are out of range or covered. And I start running back to the right and thinking, okay, now guys are going to start coming back over. I'm going to have a place to go with the football. Or Jonesy's going to get in front of me and I can toss to him or maybe lateral to him. Anything to get the ball out of my hands.
Yeah.
Because after about 40, 50 yards, I'm pretty gassed. Then I have to do the calculation in my head quickly. How far is this sideline compared to how far to 51 drills me? And then at one point do I want to take him on and try and juke him? Because I juke him like 20 yards. That is a fleeting thought that gets out of my head very quickly. Then I realized I got to try and make it to the sideline and was able to just make it. Then there was some really interesting trash talk that went on as 51 decided to call me a name, and then I asked him why he called me the name. And so there was a good back and forth. And then 98, wanted to jump in and have some conversation. So there was, to answer your question, as I left the field after throwing it to Tay there on whatever down that was, about halfway up the tunnel, I was like, man, my legs are a little heavy.
A little bit tired. Why
didn't I just throw it away?
Normally, you get along, by the way, with the opponent. What happened between 51, 98 and yourself? Did it end up being a kosher, or was there a little bit of problems there?
It was kosher towards the end of the game. 98 was Mississippi State, really good player, and he played with our left guard, Elton Jenkins. And so we kind of knew that he was going to be talking most of the game. And literally at one point late in the game, he said, "Can't run my side." And and it was like me and, I don't know, it was Big Dog or somebody else. We looked up at the scoreboard. We're like, we ran for 225 yards. So pretty well to both sides tonight.
That was...
I like the interaction, and we had a good time with that. 51 and I had a good conversation after that.
Yeah, I could imagine.
I was just confused as I ran out of bounds and he's, calling me a name. I said,
What name did he call you? You won't even say. You don't have to say it. Can we describe it? Is it a very soft, delicate, very important to society thing?
well, no, it wasn't even a big deal. He just, it wasn't great trash talk. It wasn't.
Oh, did you tell him that? Like, if I had to grade what you said to me, they're also weak, by the way. Is that?
I told him, I said, I appreciate the banter, but the trash talk wasn't top notch.
All right, next question. Malcolm Butler does the belt. Okay, he intercepts you. All right, as soon as he intercepts you, he knows in his head, I just intercepted a goat here. This is going up in the office. Probably this ball right here is going up in the office. It's going up in the man. You could see that he kind of forgot what he wanted to do. Then he did a very subtle belt. Okay, just a very subtle one. You guys were up 19 at this point. He did a very subtle belt at this point. Then what followed there, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'll let you know. But you went to Davante, and he ran by him, and then you dropped one in the bucket right by Malcolm Butler, and then you guys scored a touchdown there. What did you see the belt, and did that affect any of the future plays that happened in the rest of the game?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
I didn't see it, but I think at this point people should know that that's just hasn't worked out over the years.
Oh, man.
It hasn't. Even my boy Jimmy Graham did it back in like 2011 when we played him in the opening game. It hasn't worked out very well. So I don't have a whole lot to say about that. I didn't see it. Wouldn't have stopped me or made me want to go his side anymore.
Yeah, there was nothing stopping you and Davante this weekend. He was, watching you throwing in the 20-degree weather in the snow is stupid. You make it look very easy. Him cutting, it feels like he just has a different balance to him in the snow than everybody else. He was making it all look so easy. And your quote after the game was, you've always said that Charles Woodson was the best football player you've ever seen. It's time for Davante to get into that conversation. What has it been? Has this year been anything different with Davante? Has this always been Davante? We just haven't noticed? Or is this just he is unbelievable to watch. You two are a hell of a tag team. It is a blast to watch you guys work.
Yeah, I think just the way that he's dominated, I haven't seen this type of domination since Charles. It's just been on a different level. We've played 15 games. He's played 13, but really 12 and a half because he missed the whole second half of Detroit. So the numbers that he's put up is ridiculous. And you start talking about the history of a franchise. This isn't just any franchise. This is the Green Bay Packers. We've been around since 1919. And I know that, throwing the football hasn't been the same. It wasn't the same back in 1919. Even in the 1960s, it was all about the Packers sweep and the more running focused team. But you're talking about the history of a storied franchise, and he is 4 catches away, 2 touchdowns away, and the yardage is a little high. But you're talking about a guy that's really played 12 and a half games and had over 100 catches and 17 touchdowns and 1,300 yards, something that those numbers that only, I believe, Chris Carter and Randy Moss have done. It starts to get up in that upper echelon of seasons where the greatness that you're rubbing shoulders with is all time. It's guys who are wearing yellow jackets. So that's when I feel like the conversation has to start changing, and you have to just give him his credit for what he's accomplished this year.
Is he
After the game, that catch he had on Malcolm there late in the game. In September, it's a tough catch. In September, in 75 degrees, it's a tough catch. In December, in 20 degrees, it's an incredible catch. It's amazing, and just the stuff that he does is amazing. I threw a ball to him on a deep over in the first quarter, and he made like a catch where he kind of super nonchalantly, it was behind him probably a foot, and he just kind of whirled around and caught, it looked like a back shoulder, like crossing route. And I was mad because I hit him on his front number. Who knows? You might make a guy miss and score. But just he catches it and he tucks it. It's just so smooth. It's like these little plays that people probably don't even see in the moment. They think, oh, nice throw, good catch. Well, it wasn't a great throw, and it was an amazing catch. And it was nonchalant by him. But he just does a lot of things. The touchdown over the middle, obviously we had great protection and play fake. We're looking for big dog on the play. He broke his route off. He's supposed to run a deep over on the back line. But him and I were on the same page. We talked about something, a week ago in a different play against a different opponent, and he ended up making that adjustment in the moment. I saw it hit him. That's the things you love. It's just when you don't even have to communicate about it, and it can come together like that.
So this is kind of coming up with a lot of younger quarterbacks. All right, so Tua is a topic of a conversation, and there's some mic'd up moments between Fitzmagic and Tua where Fitzmagic is basically telling Tua, like, some nights or some days the guy you see isn't going to be open, but you got to take your shot. Like, it's 1-2, and he might not be open, but you still got to take your shot. Whenever you have a guy like Davante out there, is he just always open? Like, in your mind, like, you hear wide receivers be like, hey, I'm like 7-11, I'm always open. Is that what it is with Davante? Like, it doesn't matter what the corner does? It's like you have so much trust in him? Or how does that all kind of play out there?
I think it always depends on the route. I'm always looking for the highest percentage play, the highest percentage pass within the play. And, the old offense, it came down to matchups. And it was really about trying to pick the best matchup all the time. This offense is so much more about progressions and scheme. It's a little different mindset. But I can easily jump Davante from like the 3 in the progression to the 1 in the progression on certain plays based on the route that he has and his ability to run that route and the expectation he's going to win it, which happens a lot because he's just such a dynamic route runner. We do call a lot of plays for him. Why wouldn't you when you have a guy that's that dynamic?
Yeah.
But his ability to do things within the offense and make it his own, add his own creativity and flair to the routes allows him to be open way more than other guys. I saw this back in 2014. I remember we played Seattle first game of the year, and they whooped us. And the whole game we put Jordy on the left. We weren't sure if Richard was going to go and travel with him, but we put him on the left. If Richard did travel with him, he's more of a defensive left corner, which is the offensive right. So maybe that would make him feel a little less comfortable. He didn't. He stayed on his side. Davante was going against him most of the game as our outside receiver. And I went back and watched that film, and I remember thinking, man, this kid was open a lot. He was running really, really good routes. Kind of locked that away and didn't obviously he had a couple big games that year. He had a big game against New England and a big game in the playoffs against Dallas. But I never forgot like his ability to run routes, especially against a premier corner like Richard, one of the best of our generation, if not the best. But
dude, that's a big statement right there. You just started so much shit with that. I mean, you were complimenting Davante, but what you just said about Richard, that's going to cause its own thing.
What thing?
Well, just the thing with the best thing, the thing. Anytime you do that, it becomes a thing.
Whatever. I mean, I've played against so many great ones over the years, and he's in the conversation. I mean, he's so talented.
But you saw early that Davante was going to be special.
Really, he had just a different type of route running ability.
Yeah.
And then he transformed his body. Because at that time, he was like 225. He was thick. I think he weighs more closer to 210 now. And he's quick enough to get on top and the beat guys over the top. And then if you press him,
problems.
It's tough.
All right, couple more questions here. I thank you for your time, by the way. You're the best. Congrats on the 2020 MVP.
Yeah!
Woo! Scary. What's that, dude?
I love you. Yep.
Roger Goodell, I love you too, man. Roger Goodell told me that I was allowed to announce that today if I wanted to. So that was very nice. He tweeted me.
Oh, Raj? Yeah, sure he did.
At NFL commission, dude. Hey, what's scary ninja mean? Dude, does that mean throw to the left?
No. No, I can't tell you what that means.
You're going to have to change it. Everybody heard it, dude. I'm not the only one that heard Scary Ninja. I mean, it was very loud. It was like you were screaming into my living room, Scary Ninja, that particular
But how awesome is it to be able to say that? Now that they can hear everything? I mean, what's cooler than a Scary Ninja?
Scary Ninja! Green 90s! And it was a throw to the left. I was so... Just it felt like you were even maybe grabbing the microphone with how clear it came through. It sounded like you were even like as loud as you possibly could. You won't tell me what it means. That's great. Aaron Jones stepped out of bounds on that long play. At what point do you know he stepped out of bounds, or we got to hurry up and snap that thing before a challenge is out there? Does Aaron tell you that he potentially did it, or how's that communication work?
A lot of times, if a receiver knows they didn't catch it, they'll kind of give me a sign if they call it a catch, and we'll go quickly just to put an onus on it. And it's worked the other way too. Sometimes when you're hearing your ear like, "Oh, he didn't catch it. We got to go quick. We got to run a quick play." Sometimes the receiver would be like, "Hey, I caught it. We're good." And most of the time they haven't been wrong. In this situation, it was our sideline, and I believe either Matt saw it or somebody upstairs saw it, and they were like, "Hey, we got to get our a quick play called here, so get us into something." And every time that situation happens, you're almost expecting it to get blown dead and look over the red challenge flag. There is some gamesmanship that happens, and this happens at every stadium. They won't show certain replays on the JumboTron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was too busy trying to get us lined up. I'm not sure if they show the replay or not, but that situation where you get some home cooking that happens, again, it's not a Green Bay thing. That happens at every stadium. There's, questionable calls. They start showing the replay and they cut it off really quick. Like, no, we can't show that. We can't show that,
I remember we had some coaches that Lucas Oil Stadium was showing the replays like faster than everybody else. Like the person that was doing the replays wanted to prove that he was maybe the best replay operator in the entire NFL. And there'd be some suspect things, and this replay would go up quicker than everywhere else. And I remember some coaches going, "We play everywhere else. They don't show the replay. Our guy, fucking quickest on the trigger in the history. It screws us out of 50, 60 yards every single time." And it kind of like worked its way. I think like the complaints, you can't tell them to go slow. You just got to kind of hope like, hey, man, there's like a set of rules. I think you have to show it within a certain amount of time. If we can maybe, not be the quickest in the NFL, that would be fantastic through this entire thing. Because you catch people off sides, obviously, with your counts, too many men on the field. This past week, that was an obvious out of bounds that they didn't call, which a lot of people had questions about because there was a ref staring directly at that thing, and they didn't call it. But it's
also a snowy field with white lines.
True. How do you know? Did you know where you were at all times? Did they get because I saw they had the sideline so you could see every 5 yards, and then they had the hashes so you could see it. Did you know exactly what yard you were on every single time?
No, because you couldn't. It was hard to see where the yard markers were on the sidelines. So no, it was confusing at times for sure. It wasn't the snowiest game I've been a part of. It was probably top 3 or 4. But it does change. This changes. Like a couple of times where I threw to a guy and the end of the snow on the field was the beginning of the, let's call it 4 feet that they were able to plow by the sideline. So it was a weird dynamic to like guys are still going and getting hit and tackled. Even on my run where I ran 78 yards or whatever it was, I got to the edge of the snow and I didn't realize, oh shoot, I still have like 3 feet until I get out of bounds so he can still rock me,
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that he didn't. But it does make things a little more difficult, I think, for the refs looking at that. But yeah, I mean, it all balances out, I think.
Hey, you're the man. What are you doing today? I saw you got your squats already done. You got a massage today? Big massage? You gonna watch The Empire Strikes Back, maybe?
Yeah,
Ooh.
Massage. Look at some more film, and then just had Christmas, so there's some cleanup to be done.
Oh, and Aston Martin was parked out front, or what? From Bakhtiar?
Oh my God, I didn't bring that. I do want to give Dave credit because I've been giving so much shit on this program. He did give me an Aston Martin. It's a model Aston Martin. That looked like it was used as well. So it wasn't even a new model that maybe he spent time putting together from Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something. But he did get me a model of that. And I have to contractually tell you guys that he supposedly is getting me a golf cart.
Oh, like one with speakers and like souped up a little bit, like a nice golf cart?
Supposed to be souped up. I don't know if it's an Aston Martin golf cart, but I will say that I am excited about that.
I want to let you know that You know, it wasn't the right movie that you talked about, and we ordered this 2 weeks before Christmas. It just got here today. This was going to get sent to Lambeau. We were going to send this over, to kind of flex on Bakhtiari. We're not sure it's the right Aston Martin, but it is an Aston Martin. Turns out we'll just leave it right here on the desk for you.
No. I'd love to see, because that one looks new. The one he gave me is 100% used. I don't know if he bought it off of eBay or something, but it wasn't even clean when I got it. It had smudge marks all over it. It needs a good wax job, let me tell you that.
So his gift was...
I'm still holding out hope.
His gift was... It was
solid. It was solid. I mean, he's getting me I know how much those things cost. He's getting me a golf cart. I don't know where I'm going to put it. It's wintertime. I don't know if I'm going to see it, next September.
You put it in Malibu.
No, there's no place to put it out there.
Oh, because it's so much beach and the house is so big? Is that why?
Yeah, basically.
I saw the whole place, dude. I took a tour of that house before you even bought it, I think.
Get over this shit.
I did. I'm telling you I did, dude. I'm so sorry. God damn it, I had one more. Oh, did you see Jake from State Farm's Hyundai guy now?
What?
He's on a Hyundai commercial. Jake from State Farm is now Hyundai. There was actually a time this Sunday that went from you hitting the shit out of that driver because there wasn't a Rodgers rate, flexing, good acting with the glove takeoff with your remark, incredible acting. You're a thespian much larger than any of us could have imagined. And then right back to back, Jake from State Farm hustling Hyundais. This guy's raking in all the commercial money.
What side did he have? Was it elastic in the sleeves in his shirt, or what was he rocking? Was he showing off the pipes?
Yeah, he had a polo on, I believe, in the Hyundai commercial as well. Yeah. He, by the way, it sells. He's in 3. He might be the spokesperson for every company the NFL works with by the end of the season. We still got some time here.
Yeah, well, you should maybe negotiate for him. I feel like you're one of his biggest fans.
No, I'm a fan of your in that. I think you steal that commercial, not him. It's you, not him.
Okay, thank you. What are you doing with that?
I literally don't know. You saw me trying to figure it out there. It's kind of scotch taped to this board here, and then there's a bunch of things under here. If I was to put it on the desk and not give it to you, I would have to take those off probably right now. But I think we should still send it to him.
Oh yeah.
You can keep it. I'll come grab it when I come out to do the in-person one at the end of the year.
You're gonna come out here?
Yeah.
Man, we appreciate that. We can't wait for that. Good luck this weekend, man.
Thanks, guys. Have a great New Year's, huh?
Hey, you too, man. We'll be watching.
I know you will.
I'll be taking notes too. Fucking get ready for it. You know what I mean?
I'm ready, bro. Bring it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 NFL MVP and owner of 2 new Aston Martin little car things. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, buddy. He's the fucking best, dude. Always.